There are a couple of things that I would like to point out to you. I noticed that some of you struggled with this last quiz. Several of you made hundreds, so that's great, but I think some of you had a little trouble with the vocabulary, and I also want to make sure that I pulled up the reports and I looked at them, and I noticed that some of you spend very little time on the lessons. I want to make sure that you are watching the videos. Every one of these videos were an example problem of the kinds that were exactly like the quiz. There were also optional practice problems with a key here. You need to be doing all of that. You cannot just click on the My Open Math homework and hope that you've done enough practice. A quiz means that you are completely ready to test your ability before you take a test. And if you haven't worked enough problems, you are not going to get these correct. So you need to make sure that you're actually going through everything in the lesson, taking notes, doing the practice problems. So sometimes there are things in here that aren't for a grade, but they're things that you need to do and that you're responsible for. When I look at the quiz, if I go down here and look at my quiz, let's look from my view. So quiz 4, if I go over here and I preview it just so you guys can see what it should have looked like. Let's start at the beginning. This one says choose the best answer. If your credit card balance is $962, you make a $50 payment. APR, which stands for annual percentage rate, which means it's for the whole year. And the interest is calculated according to the previous balance. Previous balance means the balance that you had previously. So the previous balance, then the finance charge is. So you don't do anything with the payment in previous balance, just like with your videos. You do take your interest, and since the interest is for the whole year and a credit card is for a month, you would take the 6 divided by 12, which is 0.5, move your decimal 2 places to the left, and that would be 0.005, times 962 is $4.81, which is choice B. The second one, if your credit card balance is $962, this is the exact same problem with a payment, same interest, but it is adjusted balance. It means adjust your balance before you apply the finance charge. So $962 minus a $50 payment is $912. We still have that same amount of interest, so times 0.005 is $4.56. The next one, calculate the monthly finance charge for the credit card transaction, and it tells you that it took 10 days for it to be posted, but it tells you that it's previous balance. So this is exactly like what you've been doing before. We even have the same interest rate. So 600 times 0.005 comes to $3. And then number 4, this is the only one that probably was harder. It's average daily balance, and on that one you need to make sure that you've taken the average into account. So it tells you that it took 10 days for the payment to post, so that means that your balance was $700 for 10 days. So in order to find an average, you need to multiply 700 times 10, and that's 7,000. You made a payment, so 700 minus 250 is 450, and so for the remainder of the month your balance was 450, but we're trying to find an average. So we've already used 10 days, that means there are 20 days left, so 450 times 20 is 9,000. We are trying to find an average, so 7,000 plus 9,000 is 16,000. Divided by the 30 days means your average balance was $533.33. Your rate is 6%, just like every single problem. So I tried to do it the exact same way. Only in this one, and if you looked at the video, you would see this, since it's a daily balance, we do 6% divided by 365. Move your decimal 2 places to the left then, or you could have done that in the beginning, so 0.006 divided by 365. Either way is fine. So let's say move my decimal 2 places to the left, and then multiply that by my average daily balance, which is 533.33. There are different ways to do this, but I want to make sure that you guys have the calculations correct. If you go back and look at that video, you can see it. You can deal with the percentage in different ways, but you need to make sure that you understand that this is average daily. So you do have to account for that 30 days in there somewhere too. So you need to make sure that you do take your average daily balance that we just calculated, and the way we did that, remember, was the 7,000 plus the 9,000 is 16,000 divided by 30 is 533.33. And then there's different ways to do the math, but the way that I did it in the video is we did the 30 divided by the 365. I want you to see it on the screen so you know exactly what you're doing. And then take into account your interest. The way we did it in the video is, since we dealt with the 30 days here and the days in the year here, we went ahead and did the interest here instead of having to go ahead and do the division. That's the same as if I had did 0.06 divided by 365. I could have done it that way. I could have done that division and then multiplied by 30, but this is the calculation that I did in the video for you, and this is the way that you probably should have done it to make sure that you get this answer. So that's the way the quiz actually looked, and that's the way you would have gotten the answer that's on